One of the most important aspects of linguistics is semantics. And in the following video, I will speak about the study of semantics, in which I will include some relations of the subject with other disciplines, concepts, and its challenges. To start with, let me tell you that semantics, in its most rudimentary definition, is the study of meaning of the words. However, this does not provide with a very specific definition. Thus, it has to be said that semantics is the study to establish a theory of the relation of assigning meaning by identifying the literal and non-literal understanding of a word or groups of words which are involved with themselves, and then considering context, forms, and vocabulary, such an essential part of it. Moreover, it depends on each other in other disciplines such as phonology, philosophy, and psychology to be successful. In few words, semantics implies the search of meaning in words, sentences, texts, books, in order to comprehend the patterns or generalizations of the counterparts of a language. Parallel words, which are words with basic general equivalent in meaning of other languages. Next, it will be spoken about three of the challenges of semantics: secularity, establishment of an exact meaning, and the meaning of an utterance in context. First, secularity, which consists of establishing the meaning of a word as a simple word which brings out another one to be searched for, and another one, repeatedly many times, going in a circular way around. For example, the word cat, by searching in a dictionary, we can get the meaning of a small animal with fur, 4 legs, and a tail that is kept as a pet. But then it would have to be defined pet and fur, and at the same time, it would be more definitions in an apparent unstoppable way. But how can this issue be solved? Well, one of the strategies is to create a meta-language, which consists of using a usual or general language to describe the meaning of a word, or even using symbols different from words, like in the case of scientific subjects. Second, the certainty of assigning exact meanings to a word if the meaning of a literal understanding does not match with the text, because of a jargon language, cultural use of a term, etc. The questions rely on knowing whether the linguistic knowledge or the encyclopedic knowledge is applied. This is the case of iron, which is represented worldwide as Fe, or iron, which means to make cloths flat and smooth using an iron. For this issue, it could also be used meta-language and the lexicon of the receivers, by assuming that they already know the meaning of the other words, including in the dictionary. This means that if the speaker is in a conference or scientific or just in a regular talk with some householders, the terms to be used have to be adequate to the audience. Third, the meaning of an utterance in context. For example, when taking the expression like, my computer is dying, which means the computer is about to be turned off, rather than dying like a human being, in this case, we're having the meaning of an utterance in context. For this issue, limiting the definitions to conventional or literal meaning would be the most appropriate way to be done. Furthermore, because receivers have a lot of common sense and dealing with context inferring the meaning of words or sentences. In addition to the study of semantics, it will be truly important to understand that there is that the word meaning and the sentence meaning and are not the same. First, the word meaning is the meaning of words stored in a lexicon, like in a dictionary, but in an isolated way, independent from a sentence. Second, the sentence meaning is the arrangement of words that are ruled by the grouping of rules. In other words, a compositional characteristic of the word. A word meaning can be the word can, for example, which means in a dictionary to be able to, or a closed metal container, specially cylinder shaped, in which some types of drinks and food are sold. On the other hand, the sense, I can do it for you, implies a sentence meaning, as the arrangement of the elements of the sentence depend on its meaning. Something else to be remarked is that the speaker meaning, which refers to what the speakers intend to communicate by the sentence. For example, when saying the man disappeared in deep water after he dropped off the cruise, then the speaker meaning would imply that he died in the ocean. Another aspect to consider to be able to understand the study of semantics is that the meaning of an expression may come from reference or sense. On one side, reference is stated as the relation of the words that are joined in a sentence by the use of rules of the language. For example, I went to US. Then the reference is the relation between I went to and US. But taking care of the position and forms of the words would have to be important to be understood. On the other side, sense is related to the meaning that the readers get from the sentence. This means the relation of words or expressions with other words or expressions. For example, the girl passed the exam and showed her mother anxiously. In this case, it might mean that the girl is happy. Likewise, there are three different levels of the languages, which are sentences, propositions, and utterances as part of the semantics. First, utterance, which is something that is said or written by someone once, real pieces of the writing. For example, I'll be there is an utterance, but if another person says, I'll be there, then we will have two utterances and so on. Now, sentences are a group of words generalized and arranged grammatically, which come from utterances. In other words, they are abstract elements that describe states of matters as basic elements of the utterances. Here we have two examples. I have a basketball game tonight. I just finished reading that book. Finally, a proposition is the part of the meaning of an utterance with the same meaning. These represent the same ideas and are considered by some authors irrelevant. For example, she drank some tea and some tea was drunk by her. In this case, the meaning is the same. Finally, a literal and non-literal meaning is concerned with common sense, and for it, it can be applied a literal meaning when the speakers refer to accurate facts. You can see here what it could mean. Let the cat out of the bag. A literal and non-literal meaning is concerned with common sense. And also the literal would be the meaning when the speakers refer to accurate facts. For example, water boils at 100 degrees. In this case, taking the literal meaning of the sentence would be the most appropriate. Non-literal means to get the meaning of the word in a figurative or rhetorical way, such as using metaphors, irony, and some other options. For example, it's a piece of cake, which implies to be very simple, or time is money, which means I'm losing my time. Something important to mention about metaphors is that they can become literal instead of figurative, and a way to identify whether it is a literal or non-literal meaning. This would be dependent on treated as a semantical odd, something strange. What I mean is that the figurative meaning can become literal through the time, and then it stops being figurative. In conclusion, semantics is the study in which many elements such as words, utterances, sentences, propositions, literal and non-literal sense, syntax, and semantics, which are involved with meaning. Thus, in order to obtain a very precise understanding of a text or a word, either there are many elements to consider before gathering its meaning.